Rotation is coming soon, and we are remembering those sets that will no longer be in the standard format. Welcome to Jank Play TCG. My name is Landon, and here we play Jank. And today I am showing off the deck to remember Champion's Path, an often forgotten set that did not blow anyone's minds. It was a very small set, not much going on in there, but what I have for you is an extremely fun deck. Holy cow, and it all revolves around Drednaw VMAX. This guy's gotten a little spotlight. I remember watching some tournaments and people were playing it, but not many, and it disappeared very quickly. And you might be thinking, hey, isn't it really bad to share the same weakness as Lugia V-Star? Yes, you would be correct in that. But what we have here is a very fun deck that I've actually played against a couple of Flying Pikachu VMAXs. I hope to run into one throughout this week. And because of how we're able to manipulate damage, it was so good. So I want to explain the idea behind the deck before I get into the actual set list. And the idea revolves around Solid Shell. This ability on Drednaw VMAX, where this Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks. 30 damage, not much, you know? No one really cares about just 30 damage. It doesn't really change the numbers that much. However, this ability can be stacked with other effects. So, right off the bat, we have Radiant Gardevoir with the Loving Veil ability. All of your Pokemon take 20 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon V. Sure, it doesn't apply to single price Pokemon, but it does apply to Pokemon V, and it is just awesome. With that, we also play V-Guard Energy, which provides a colorless energy, but also this Pokemon... the Pokemon this card is attached to takes 30 less damage from attacks from your Pokemon V. Okay, so we got 30 with Drednaw. We've got 20 with Gardevoir. Alright, so that's 50 less damage. V-Guard Energy, 30, so we're looking at 80 less damage, and we're not done. We also play... Where is it? Here we go. Lake Acuity, which... all your Pokemon that have water or fighting, in this case water, energy attached, take 20 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. So we are looking at negative 100 damage that your opponent is doing. And that is how we swing this into our favor. When our Drednaw VMAXs are taking 100 less damage, well, it's going to take more than 2-hit KOs usually. In addition to that, we're also playing 4 copies of Lucky Ice Pop, because healing 20 damage is pretty good, but being able to reuse the card over and over again with coin flips is amazing. Originally, I did have some Sweet Honey in here. I tried Hyper Potion. I tried just having like Pokemon Center Lady or Cook in here to heal. I tried a lot of different things, but... everything costs just a bit too much. Sweet Honey, being on a coin flip, too often you're just flipping tails right away. Lucky Ice Pop is different because it heals 20 and then flips a coin to see if you can put it back in your hand to reuse. So, I don't know, I found Lucky Ice Pop to be pretty good. But that is the idea behind this deck. And of course, you can see here, we use the Shady Dealings engine to get everything going, because Drednaw VMAX has a ridiculous attack cost of 3 energy, 2 water, 1 colorless, so double turbo is out of question here. So we have to rely on Melony to get our energy accelerating at a decent pace. So we really need the Shady Dealings engine in order to find Melony and other cards to really help us out here. So let's get to that deck list, right? That's what everyone's here for anyways. So we have three copies. Man, I've changed this deck so much. 3 copies of Drednaw V. Drednaw V also has that solid shell ability, and it's got a powerful bite attack for the same energy cost as VMAX. You do 130 and the defending Pokemon can't retreat. And the number of times that detail has won me the game is surprising. But also, we play 3 copies of it because VMAXs give up 3 prizes and Vs give up 2 prizes. The idea is they will take a VMAX and a V and then have to take another VMAX totaling 8 prizes in order to get at least 6, because the VMAX will give up 3, the V will give up 2, and then the last VMAX will give up 3 more, but that doesn't matter, there's only 1 left. That doesn't always work in your favor. If you're noticing that they are not using their Serenas and their bosses, you might want to switch to the Shady Dealings Inteleon as an alternate attacker and only give up 1 prize. Shady Dealings Aqua Bullet is still a really good attack, and for only 2 energy, pretty easy to get going. So we play 3 copies of Drednaw V, 2 copies of Drednaw VMAX because we only need the 2. Now, if you prize one, you gotta hope that you get it soon, because if you don't, that's gonna be difficult. But honestly, I could not find space for more. Originally, I had like 4 Drednaw Vs and 3 Drednaw VMAXs, and during testing, I couldn't even get that working. I got 4 Drednaw Vs, 2 VMAXs, and was like, okay, this is the number, right? And even then, I needed to make space for just 1 more card. And yeah, that's just how testing goes, but that's where I ended up, and it has been working out very well for me. So hopefully it works out well for you too. As I mentioned before, we have 1 copy of Radiant Gardevoir. We can only play 1 copy of a Radiant Pokemon in our deck, but yeah, giving us that Loving Veil ability really helps our survivability. Next up, we've got 1 copy of Manaphy. Because we're using the Shady Dealings engine, we are very vulnerable to bench damage. When you've got Drizziles and Sobbles on the bench, something that can do bench damage can become very dangerous. So we play 1 copy of Manaphy because if you need it, you gotta get it. But if you don't, you can discard it and forget about it. So we've got 4 copies of Sobble. It's a 4-3-3 line. 4 copies of Sobble because, you know, we really want Sobbles down. And if one gets knocked out, oh well, but we really want Sobbles down. We've got 3 copies of Drizzile with that Shady Dealings ability where you get 1 trainer card when you evolve up. Very useful. 2 copies of Shady Dealings Inteleon where you get 2 trainer cards. Again, very useful, especially as a backup attacker with that Aqua Bullet. And we play 1 copy of the Rapid Strike in Quick Shooting Inteleon for the extra damage, which does really come into play quite often. I don't think I would recommend focusing on getting this Inteleon out until you need it. Getting out too early can really mess up your Shady Dealings, so it's in there just as eventually you'll get it out, and eventually that will make a difference. But for now, focus on getting everything else ready. Let's jump over to energy. We have 7 basic water energy, because we really need it in the discard. We really need it on 2 Drednaws, which need 3 energy each, but only 2 water energy. But if you go for another attack, 7. 7 is what we ended up with. And we ended up with only 2 V-Guard energy because there will only be 2 VMAXs that matter in the game. You're not going to be retreating out of the active and doing that kind of nonsense. That VMAX, when it goes into the active, you are dedicating that to the active spot. So 1 V-Guard energy on that one and 1 V-Guard energy on your upcoming VMAX is all that you need. I mean, I would love to have a 3rd one in, but it's not worth sacrificing even 1 water energy for it. It messes up the numbers. We've got 2 copies of Irida. This might be a mistake. I only went with 2 because I went a bit heavy with Marnie. Marnie we play 4 of because it really helps just cycle through your cards. But that might be a mistake because I know Irida with Shady Dealings, a lot of people max that out, and I don't blame them. This is like kind of a late addition to the deck. Not a card I use too often. I'm more used to using Marnie and Serena. So Irida, late addition, but a valuable one. So we only played 2 copies of that. We play 4 copies of Lucky Ice Pop because healing damage is so important in this. We are trying to not only remove the, we're trying to prevent 2-hit KOs as much as possible. So reducing the amount of damage you're getting and then healing that amount of damage away becomes very important. So anytime I can prevent my opponent from getting a 2-hit KO, it's going in my favor. Even though I'm doing 2-hit KOs right back, Lucky Ice Pop is definitely coming in my favor when that can happen. We've got 3 copies of Lake Acuity. You gotta win the stadium more, and it's very difficult to do that nowadays. With Lost Vacuum and so many people playing so many stadiums, it's very difficult. I went with 3. I would love to have 4. I could only find room for 3. And that's where I'm at, sadly. Maybe you can find space later on for it. We've got 3 copies of Ultra Ball. I went with Ultra Ball because it can search out your basics, it can search out your evolutions, it can search out for just anything that you need. It can also discard cards, which will help with Melony later on. We've got 2 copies of Escape Rope because Drednaw has like a 4 retreat cost. We are not retreating with Drednaw. Escape Rope can also manipulate your opponent's side of the board, so plenty of Miltank matchups I've ran into. Escape Rope has been key in getting around that, putting up my Shady Dealings Inteleon with the Aqua Bullet, knocking out the second Miltank they put up, putting damage on a Pokemon V that they have benched there that I'm waiting for Serena, or just KO these 2 Miltanks, and then I can get back to the KOing the Vs. Escape Rope has just been very valuable to me. 1 copy of Heavy Ball because sometimes basics get prized, and that is a way to get them out. 3 copies of Melony. If you need to accelerate more than 3 energy, you're going to be in a tough spot. But drawing those cards with Melony sometimes is just so valuable. I ended up with 3 here. I'd love to have 4, but you gotta make space somehow. 1 copy of Ordinary Rod because sometimes you have to discard things that you don't want. Sorry about that. I thought I turned off Discord. Sometimes you gotta discard things you don't want. It happens. So 1 copy of Ordinary Rod. Sadly, I discard Ordinary Rod a bit too often, but you know, it is what it is. We've got 4 copies of Quick Ball. We got a lot of basics. We got Radiant Gardevoir, we got the Drednaw, we got the Sobbles. And it's only a discard 1, so it can really help you discard 1 water, grab a basic you need, and Melony for some extra cards and energy acceleration. 4 copies of Marnie to just try to cycle through your deck as much as possible. The deck is a little bit too vulnerable, in my opinion, to rely on getting 1 item card here and 1 item card here with Irida and Shady Dealings and just picking certain cards. Sometimes you just need a big hand reset, and Marnie is what I landed on. You could possibly go with something like Professor's Research if you wanted an even bigger draw, but I don't feel comfortable discarding all these cards when I'm talking about how low these card counts are that I wish could be higher. So I went with Marnie. 2 copies of Capacious Bucket. Like I mentioned, you gotta get water in the discard. Capacious Bucket is 1 item card for 2 water energy, and then you can discard 1 of those and get Melony to activate or something like that. So the Capacious Bucket, it's also just a nice way to get water energy into your hand that you can search out with Shady Dealings. 2 copies of Serena. Now, Serena is a good draw card, and that's more of the backup in this. Plenty of decks I make, Serena is like, yeah, most likely we'll be drawing 3 cards, but the gusting, you know, is a great benefit. No, here we are going to be gusting, and the drawing is okay, you know? So we want to be able to gust targets into the active. We only got 2 copies of Serena, so you gotta make them count. And 3 copies of Scoop Up Net. Trust me, I wanted it 4. But 3 is where we're at. You know, it can reset Shady Dealings so you can evolve up and all that stuff again. It can get your single prize Pokemon out of the active spot when you can't find your escape rope. There's just too many uses for Scoop Up Net to not include it. And that is the deck for Champion's Path. Let's go ahead and test deck and see how this, see if I can show you how it works here. Yeah. So Tails. All right. You might notice that the background's a little bit different. I'm off to the side a little bit more. I've changed my computer layout a bit. Spent all day yesterday doing that when I should have been recording so I can enjoy my day off. But I'm doing this on my day off and enjoying it. So, you know, swings and roundabouts. All right, so we get the Drednaw V. We throw that into the active. We got Sobble to leave on the bench. We got Lake Acuity, which we can't... Not going to be very valuable to play this early. They're playing a Psychic deck. Most likely they're going to be playing Old Cemetery. We're going to need to win that war there. But we can play the V-Guard energy down onto the Drednaw. And then Drednaw will be taking 60 less damage from Shadow Rider. Alright, so they're playing Training Court. And because they just threw that down, I do feel more comfortable playing Lake Acuity. But we don't have a way to get the water energy down on... the Drednaw V this turn, so I'm not sure if that is exactly worthwhile yet, but we will. Ooh, we have prized our Radiant Gardevoir, so we will play down that. We will play Lake Acuity, get rid of that, and we will Serena, discard the Lucky Ice Pop, hold on to the other Serena, draw 4. And we do get Melony for next turn. So next turn, we will have a Drednaw ready to go. But this turn, we just have to pass. Now, Shadow Rider does have that Shadow Mist attack where we can't play special energies. Thank goodness they evolved up. But we played our special energy last turn, so we couldn't get locked out that way. Okay, so they boss up our other Drednaw V. So we can get pretty close to getting this Drednaw V active. But it won't be until the follow-up turn. So we're going to play Melony onto there. We get our VMAX. We'll play that energy. We'll play down the VMAX. And I think all we can do is wait. I can Ultra Ball, and that's tempting for a Drizzile. But I think I'm going to do that next turn. Because then I could Drizzile for another Melony, accelerate energy. And here comes another boss order. All right. All right. So, yeah, let's see. Wait. Yep, we will Ultra Ball the Manaphy and a Water Energy for Drizzile. Drizzile. Drizzile will let us search out our Melony. Shady Dealings. Yes. Melony. Melony will attach an energy and draw us 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Okay. We can attach a water energy there. We can quick ball away the quick ball. And that will let us grab another Sobble. And we have a Drizzile in hand, so next turn we can even use that Drizzile, search out a card if we need it. So it's Powerful Bite. So that is only 130 damage, but it's setting things up really nice. See, now currently Shadow Rider has 190 HP left, and Drednaw, if it flips heads, can get that KO. So, alright, they took away a lot of good stuff, sadly. We've got Drednaw here, we've got Sobble here. They just took away our Lake, so not going to be able to hold on to that, for too long. What is in here? Manaphy. Okay, so if I Ultra Ball these 2 away, I can get a VMAX, evolve up the Drednaw V, and Ordinary Rod these 2 back into the deck if necessary. I kind of like that plan, so that's what we're going to go with. We're going to discard those 2. Done. Although I could actually grab a Drizzile to grab Irida, and Irida can let me grab another item card as well. So that, I think, is going to be the play here. So we're going to Drizzile. Probably should have looked to make sure Irida was in the deck first. But if not, I'll just grab Marnie. There's Irida. Alright. Cooking with gas. Irida. We will grab the Drednaw. And we could grab an Inteleon and grab, this and that. And what have you. But we're just going to grab these. Which might be a mistake, but I'm hoping to get a KO soon. Grab 2 water energy. We're going to attach 1, probably to a Drizzile, actually. And I'm not going to shuffle in the Sobble and Drednaw yet. We kind of have all the Pokemon we need, and if we hit heads, which we just did, we're going to get this KO and we're going to end this game, and that was quick. Grab our 3 prizes. Nope, no Radiant yet, but we have Heavy Ball. We will have found Radiant Gardevoir eventually. So that is the deck. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Sadly, we did not get to use the damage negation quite as much, the preventing damage ability. Our opponent just didn't attack, but we were able to set up pretty darn fast, and that's really what I wanted to show off here, is just how quick this deck can be, and how it really keeps up with the current meta. Is it perfect? No, not by any stretch of the imagination, but it is fun, and I hope you guys enjoy this as well. So thank you so much for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, if you enjoy what I'm doing here, and join the Discord, link in the description, where we can talk about Jank cards, decks, formats, other TCGs, whatever you want. And of course, until next time, keep playing Jank.